Hey everyone! So for centuries, we've housed bees in these simple wooden boxes. They're practical, you can stack them, but what if they're fundamentally wrong for the bees themselves? Today, we're going to look at a project that just throws out the old rulebook and asks a really cool question. What if we built a beehive that thinks like a tree? Okay, let's get into it. And that really gets to the heart of this whole project. I mean, we manage bees for pollination, for honey, but are the very homes we provide for them actually working against their natural instincts and their immune systems? Well, all the evidence is starting to suggest we might have missed a few crucial details. And this slide just lays out the stark contrast perfectly. On the left, you've got the bee's natural choice, a tree hollow. It's got rough walls, a sheltered entrance, a really stable internal environment. Then on the right, you have our modern hive. Smooth, uniform walls, a wide open entrance, and pretty much zero defense against modern pollutants. It's really like comparing a cozy, self-regulating cottage to a sterile, drafty warehouse. So let's break down exactly what these modern boxes are missing. Because it turns out, those little details that nature perfected over millions of years, they make a huge difference to a colony's health and its ability to bounce back. And listen, these aren't just minor things. That rough texture in a tree isn't just for grip. It's the perfect surface for bees to build something called a propolis envelope, a kind of resinous, antimicrobial shield they build themselves. And the gentle trickle of water down a tree trunk, that stem flow, that actually helps new colonies get established. And of course, the big one, the total lack of defense against modern airborne junk like microplastics and pesticides, a problem our standard hives were just never designed to solve. So this is where the thinking completely shifts. Instead of just accepting the flaws of the standard box, the designers of the Hollow Hive went all the way back to the original blueprint, the tree itself. And the solution they came up with is the Hollow Hive. This is not just another box. It's a modular system, it's intentionally plastic-free, and it's designed to recreate all the best parts of a tree hollow while also adding modern monitoring so we can actually see what's working. So how does it actually work? Let's take a look inside and see how each piece of this puzzle helps build a better home for bees. The whole innovation really starts on the inside. Instead of that smooth, planed wood that we're all used to seeing, the very first key component is a rough, almost bark-like inner surface. This rough liner is the absolute foundation. All its little micro-fissures encourage the bees to build that protective propolis shield, which research shows directly supports their social immunity. It also holds on to thin films of water, which helps maintain a stable, humid microclimate, just like you'd find in a weathered tree cavity. Okay, next up, we have to address a problem that trees never had to deal with: modern air pollution. This is the hive's first line of defense, right at the front door. This is essentially a sophisticated little air filter for the bees. It uses a really clever combination of porous terracotta and a biochar hemp pad. Together, they create a clean air zone right at the entrance, capturing airborne threats like pesticide drift and even microplastics before they ever get inside the hive. But the defense doesn't stop with the air. I mean, what about the pollutants that are literally hitching a ride on the bees themselves? Well, that's where the next module comes in. You can think of this as a tiny, gentle car wash for bees. As a forager returns and passes through this three-layer membrane, any surface contaminants just get gently brushed off. But, and this is the brilliant part, it has a second function. Those layers can be removed and analyzed, giving researchers a direct sample of the pollutants the bees are encountering in their environment. It's genius. So, a nature-inspired design sounds great in theory, but how do you prove that it actually works? Well, the project has a really rigorous scientific protocol built right into its DNA. They're running a classic ABC trial. So Group A gets the base Hollow Hive kit, Group B gets a standard hive, that's your control, and Group C gets the Hollow Hive with all the upgrades, the whole shebang. By comparing the outcomes, things like colony health and winter survival, they can generate real, hard data on what really works. And they have very specific goals. This number represents one of their primary targets, a 70% reduction in markers for common pathogens like nosema, which is a devastating gut parasite that can wipe out entire colonies. I mean, achieving this would be a massive, massive win for bee health. Now, this is where the Hollow Hive goes beyond just being a better home and becomes something else entirely, an intelligent environmental monitor. I just love this quote from the design guide: bees as edge sensors. It completely reframes the purpose of the hive. The bees are already out there, sampling the environment every single day, and the hive becomes the device that captures and interprets all that data. And this is all made possible by an integrated stack of sensors. You've got load cells that track weight, which indicates honey stores. Sensors monitor the internal temperature, the humidity, CO2 levels, and all of this data is fed into an open source platform. This is where AI models can flag potential risks for the beekeeper, like a sudden drop in foraging activity, or if conditions are ripe for swarming. It's like a smart early warning system. So, what does this all add up to? It's really this powerful fusion of two worlds that we often see as being separate: the ancient wisdom of nature and the cutting edge of data science. This final comparison really drives it home. The traditional hive's inner surface, smooth. The hollow hive, rough and bark-like. Pollutant defense in a traditional hive? None. The hollow hive has a filter and a gate. Monitoring access in a standard hive is manual and invasive. The hollow hive provides super easy access to data and samples. It's a night and day difference. At the end of the day, this just shows that by carefully observing and mimicking the natural world, we can design much better solutions. The holohive proves we don't have to choose between nature and technology. We can combine them to create systems that are more resilient, more intelligent, and ultimately more supportive of the very creatures we all depend on. And that leaves us with a final thought. We've applied this thinking to bees, but what else could we redesign by looking more closely at nature's 4-billion-year-old R&D department? Maybe the most innovative path forward is the one that looks back to the original source code. Thanks for tuning in.